A man doesn't truly remember a woman by her words. He remembers her by the things he simply couldn't forget after she had gone. Let that thought settle in your heart for a bit. Because somewhere along the path of life, many of us were told a falsehood, a big one. It was said that to capture his notice, to keep him focused, to make him feel that strong pull, you had to act a certain way. You had to be louder, look more appealing, behave sweeter. You had to chase. You had to show your worth. You had to persuade. But what if I told you that the women who leave the deepest impressions don't chase anything at all? They're not acting out of pressure or fear. They are moving with a calm, settled manner. Before we go further, if you have ever felt like you were doing everything correctly, but still weren't getting back the same effort you were putting in, this next part could change how you view the whole situation. Imagine this. You are standing in the middle of a busy street. Cars are honking, people are yelling, everyone is moving quickly, trying to get seen. And right there in the middle of all of it, you close your eyes, take a breath, and light a small match. In a world full of disorder, that tiny flame, that peaceful self-assurance, that's what gets attention. That's what makes people turn their heads. That's what men sense. Because the truth is, attraction doesn't come from shouting louder. It comes from the way your energy flows. It's in the quiet, in the way you stand, in the way you don't rush to fill every empty moment. The unconscious doesn't speak in words, it speaks in symbols. And you, my friend, were never meant to be just another voice in his messages. You were meant to be a feeling he can't quite put into words. You don't need to change who you are to be unforgettable. You just need to stop hiding the part of you that already is. Men don't fall for sensible reasons. They don't think, well, she replied in 10 minutes and used 2 heart symbols, so I guess I'll give her everything. No, they fall for a feeling, for a moment, for a way of being. They fall for how you come into a room slowly, calmly, like you're not trying to gain anything from him. And then you say something that doesn't just enter his ears, but touches something deep inside him. You want to be the person he thinks about when he's cleaning his teeth, when he's at the gym or in the middle of an important meeting. Then stop trying to impress him. Start learning how to leave something with him, something he can't get rid of. Because this isn't about being liked. This is about being remembered. This isn't about changing your clothing, your hair, your laugh. It's about knowing how to use your words like they carry warmth, like a gentle fire, quiet but impossible to overlook. Today, we're not discussing cute texts or playful tricks. We're talking about something deeper. When you understand how to speak to emotional memory, when you learn how to use your tone, the right moment, and your presence, you stop chasing attention. You start carrying a noticeable presence. And no, this isn't about manipulating. This is about being aware. This is emotional pull. This is how women throughout history became unforgettable, not by pushing, but by simply being impossible to deny. So stay close, because in the next few minutes, you're going to hear 3 strong phrases, not to trap him, but to awaken something in him, to make him feel like you're not just a woman he talked to, you're a moment that stays in his heart days later. So breathe in, sit up straight, and let this sink in. And here's what most people don't talk about. A man might forget the sound of your voice. He might forget what dress you had on or what song was playing, but he will never forget how he felt when he was around you. That's the first truth. He doesn't fall for how you look. He falls for how you made him feel when he was close to you. You're not trying to be better than the most beautiful woman. You're standing out by being the one who left a deep feeling behind. Do you ever hear a song that wasn't very loud, didn't have a strong beat, but hours later, it's still playing in your mind? That's what emotional resonance does. It doesn't demand your attention. It quietly claims it. Most women are trying to be the loud song. The one that's faster, full of catchy parts, flashy, with more replies, longer messages, prettier angles. But louder doesn't mean deeper, and louder gets forgotten. That's why so many women give and end up confused, thinking, why wasn't I enough? It's because you were speaking with logical reasons, but he was feeling an emotion. An emotion doesn't react to proof, it reacts to a clear presence. Jung said again, the unconscious speaks in emotion and image. So when you speak from nervousness, he doesn't hear your words. He feels the tension. When you speak from trust, he feels steady. When you speak from needing something, he senses pressure. But when you speak from a calm presence, he feels safe, interested, drawn in. Do you ever meet someone and walk away feeling like, I can't explain it, but there was just something about them? That something wasn't their looks, it wasn't how smart they were, it was their emotional frequency. So ask yourself this: are your words filled with pressure or calm? Are you trying to connect or trying to convince? Are you whole and open, or are you secretly waiting to be chosen? Because men don't remember the women who ask to be understood. They remember the women who don't explain everything, but let the quiet spaces between their words speak for them. They remember the ones who let silence feel powerful, the ones who let mystery do the talking. Denzel Washington said, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So let's turn that around for attraction. Noise is a greater threat to connection than silence. Fireworks might catch the eye, but fire, real fire, it stays warm even after you go away. So from now on, stop trying to be heard. Start letting yourself be felt. Don't fill the quiet, hold it. Don't push your worth, embody it. Don't explain your value, stand in it. If you're wondering, okay, what do I actually say to leave that kind of mark? Listen carefully. This isn't about making him impressed. It's about stirring something deeper. Here's one phrase that doesn't flatter. It sets a mood. It doesn't ask, it plants a seed. And when you say it at the right time, in the right tone, it stays with him long after the words are gone. You and me, that could be dangerous. Say it with me, soft, sure. You and me, that could be dangerous. Now let that settle in your body. That's not a line to pick someone up. That's not bait. That's a suggestion like from a movie. It hints at something exciting, something a little risky, something just outside the usual boundaries. When you say you and me, you're not begging for his notice. You're offering him a thought, a small peek into a world where you and him together might just be too much in the best way. And here's what makes it strong. You don't say it with need. You say it with playfulness. You say it in the middle of talking about something completely normal. Music, food, travel, and then you drop it like it almost slipped out. You don't follow it with an explanation. You pause, you smile, you leave space for it to echo. That quietness afterwards, that's where the power lives. If you're wondering, won't that seem too daring? Here's the truth. Being daring only feels wrong when it's desperate. But when it's playful and relaxed, it's not daring. It's impossible to resist. Men don't chase the women who shout their interest. They chase the ones who hint at something deeper, then step away before he can fully grasp it. It's not what you said, it's what he saw in his mind when you said it. Now, we're going to uncover one more phrase, one that doesn't push, it stays. One that turns you into a mirror he can't stop looking at. Say this gently, like you almost didn't mean to say it. You have a way of distracting me and you don't even realize it. That one, it's not loud, it's not even direct, but it makes him think, it stirs him, it makes him rethink moments and wonder, what did I do that affected her? These works because it's not clear. You didn't say, I like you. You said, you affect me, but I'm not going to tell you how. That unspoken mystery, that haze, is what pulls a man in deeper than any compliment ever could. It's like a foggy mirror after a hot shower. He can almost see it, but not completely. And that makes him lean in closer. That makes him curious. That's what draws him back, because the moment he starts wondering about you, you're already in his thoughts. Clarity is good, but mystery is unforgettable. So don't be the explanation. Be the spark. Be the mirror. Be the scene he replays in his head, the silence he remembers more than the noise. From knowing your presence already affected him and you're just letting him feel it. Say it softly with a small smile after a moment of laughter, like it just came out naturally, and then let the quiet take over. Don't explain it. Don't wait for an answer. Just leave it and walk away. Because when a woman speaks with feeling, not proof, when she reflects his energy instead of trying to show her worth, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she said too much, but because she knew the exact words that made him feel like he was the only man who could stir her without even trying. And now we're getting into the right time to say things, because you might have the perfect phrase with the perfect tone, but if it's said at the wrong moment, it loses its meaning. So stay with me. This part is going to get deep. Timing is everything. Attraction has a rhythm, and you have to know what time it is. The right phrase at the wrong time turns into something less meaningful. Okay, I understand. I will rewrite the provided text, making slight word changes while ensuring the script remains the same in essence and is over 9,000 characters. I will use simple English and avoid any headings or subheadings. Let that idea truly settle in, because knowing when to act is the secret no one really talks about. You could have the most captivating way of being, the most moving words, the smoothest voice. But if you say it too soon, it might seem a bit too eager. And if you wait for too long, that special moment just slips away. It's gone. The chance disappears. And that's why real attraction isn't just about the things you say, it's about the speed and rhythm you use. Imagine you're in a completely dark room, utterly silent, and you light a match. Just one small, bright flame. If you light it too early, no one will see it. Their eyes haven't gotten used to the darkness yet, and the little flame is wasted. But if you wait just enough time for everyone's eyes to get used to the low light, that single small flame lights up the whole area. That's exactly what good timing does. And here's the straightforward truth. Most women talk because they feel a bit uneasy. They fill up quiet moments. They send messages too quickly. They say really important things when the energy is low, when he's not paying attention, when she's feeling worried and trying to get his focus back. But the real skill is knowing not just what words to use, but exactly the right time to say them. You would never say something like, "you and I." That could be a bit risky while you're simply sitting across from each other in silence with no special atmosphere between you. You don't just blurt out, "You have a way of making me forget things after a boring text conversation." No, you wait for things to flow naturally, when there's a good feeling in the air, when you both laugh, when your eyes meet, when you're in the same space, just enjoying being there. That's your special moment. That's when you light your small match. Carl Jung once said, "Mystery awakens the hidden part of the mind." Why? Because mystery pulls us in. It makes us wonder. It brings up questions. And nothing is more intriguing than a woman who holds back, who truly senses the mood, who understands the perfect moment, and then speaks her words with warmth and impact instead of just talking out of habit. Let me paint a picture for you. You're right in the middle of a chat. The mood is light. He's laughing. You're leaning a little closer. He's telling an interesting story. And then there's that small break, that tiny spark where he really notices you. That's the key moment. That's when you lean in slightly and softly say, "You and I." That could be dangerous. And then you don't say anything else. No trying to explain yourself. No nervous little giggle. Just quiet. Just stillness. Let those words just stay there in the air. That's silence, but it's not strange or uncomfortable. It's desire. And desire breathes clear intention. But if you just throw these kinds of lines out when you're feeling anxious, when he's distant, when you're thinking too much, they simply won't have any effect. Because it's not the line itself that's powerful, it's the specific moment that holds the magic. It's not about trying to charm him every second. It's about finding that one perfect second that's already full of a special connection and speaking as if it's the most natural thing to say. So don't rush, don't try too hard. Think of the whole interaction like a dance. Learn when to hold back and when to take a step forward. Because true emotional skill isn't just about what words you choose. It's about knowing exactly when he's ready to truly feel what you're saying. And now let's explore this even more deeply, because it's not just about what he hears. It's about what lies beneath your words. This is where your true strength resides. And if you understand this correctly, your voice won't just speak, it will create a lasting memory. What you say with just your voice is like noise. What you truly mean, that's like music. Most women speak in noise, just making sounds. The very special ones, they speak in pure energy. Here's a tough truth. Men don't remember long talks. They remember quick, bright flashes. That feeling of something important left unsaid, that quiet pause that made their heart beat a little faster, that one specific line that wasn't about facts, it was about a strong feeling. Because when it comes to attraction, what's hidden underneath the surface is absolutely everything. Many women talk too much. They explain things, then repeat them, then try to fix what they said, And then they ask, did that make sense? But a woman with real emotional appeal doesn't try to explain her mood. She just lives in it. She understands that real attraction isn't about the specific words spoken. It's about what is felt beneath the surface, the unspoken understanding. And that brings us to a very powerful statement, a line that's not just full of emotion, but also creates a whole vivid image in the mind. Say this slowly, quietly. If I kissed you right now, I know you wouldn't be able to stop me. Now, take a pause. That line isn't a question. It's not even asking for something. It's a bold promise. It's a soft, playful challenge. This line works because it completely changes the usual way things happen. You're not asking him for a kiss. You're not begging for his attention. You're simply stating what would happen if you were to make the move. And you're saying it with a deep sense of calm certainty that makes it feel very real. But listen carefully. This will not work if you say it like you're unsure, if your voice wavers, if your eyes dart around, or if you immediately look for a reaction from him. This only works when it comes from a deep, settled belief in yourself. Your voice should be soft but steady, a little playful but calm. Your eyes should be steady but not harsh. Keep eye contact just long enough to let him truly feel the weight of your words. Say it like it just naturally slipped out of your mouth, but you meant every single word. Carl Jung also said, true power lives in mystery. The unconscious mind doesn't respond to simple logic. It responds to symbols, to images, to what feels possible. And this line creates exactly that. It's not about actually getting a kiss. It's about putting the idea in his mind, about letting that thought live and grow inside his head. You don't add anything to it. You don't giggle or say, just joking. You say it and then you allow the silence to exist. That moment of calm stillness, that's where the attraction truly builds. That's where he sits, caught between his imagination and his desire. What he remembers isn't the kiss itself, it's the way you spoke, the image you presented, the strong, confident feeling you carried, as if it were a fundamental truth and not just a game. So forget the idea that saying more makes you more interesting. It doesn't. Say less, but say it with profound meaning. Don't try to impress him with information. Move him with genuine emotion. And now we're going to focus on your most powerful advantage. And it's not the specific things you say, it's your overall feeling, your energy. It's the way you enter a space before you even say a single word. Because the woman who brings the right kind of feeling doesn't just talk to be heard, she speaks to leave a lasting impression. You don't have to be loud to be truly strong. The women who stay in men's hearts don't shout. They raise the entire feeling in the room, and that makes a profound difference. We live in a noisy world, full of endless thoughts, online posts, text messages, and sounds. And in the midst of all that, the woman who doesn't try to compete with the noise, but instead quiets it just by being present, she is the one who is truly unforgettable. Because real strength doesn't put on a show. It relaxes. It takes up space effortlessly. It speaks clearly without needing to yell. That's what I call emotional presence. Denzel Washington said it perfectly. Still water shows a clearer reflection than rushing water. Remember that image. Calm, still, deeply rooted. That's the kind of feeling that touches something very deep inside a man. It's not just attraction. It's a sense of recognition, that feeling of she's different. And here's something most women are not told. Your energy starts speaking before your voice ever does. So how do you walk into a room? With quick, uncertain steps and nervous small talk? Or with slow, confident movements, a quiet calm that makes heads turn even when you're not trying to? Because real feminine energy doesn't demand attention. It naturally draws it by being completely in the moment. Carl Jung called this emotional mastery, knowing how to guide your emotions, not just let them spill out everywhere. That means not fidgeting, not talking quickly just to avoid silence, not explaining every little thing. Stand or sit in a way that clearly says, I truly enjoy being who I am. Speak slowly, lower your voice just a bit, not to sound dull, but to sound sure. Give every word enough room to breathe. Let the silence exist between your sentences, as if it's not strange, but full of meaning. Because when you do this, your entire presence becomes a complete feeling, not just your looks. Men might not know how to explain it, but they definitely feel it, and that feeling stays with them. They've seen her, the woman who walks in and doesn't rush to talk. She listens with her eyes, and when she finally speaks, everything changes. Not because her words are perfectly chosen, because the way she delivers them is calm, sharp, and carefully placed. Not flashy, just deeply focused. And that's not an act. That's pure confidence. That's a woman who knows not to copy others, but to be truly original. Because men aren't drawn in by loudness, they're drawn in by genuine power. And nothing is more powerful than a woman who speaks from a place of inner peace, not from a place of panic. So the next time you step into a room, don't shrink back. Don't try to prove anything. Don't rush. Just breathe, take your time, and speak as if your words were meant to perfectly shape the very moment. And now let's talk about the biggest mistake women often make when they start to understand all this power. Because if you miss this crucial part, everything else you've learned loses its impact. A woman trying to use strength from a place of insecurity doesn't look strong at all. She just looks unsure. Let that idea truly settle in, because this is the point where everything can either truly shine or completely fall apart. By now, you've understood how to use your presence, your timing, your voice. You've seen the power in lines like, "You and I could be dangerous," or "If I kissed you right now." But here's the important warning. If you're using that power from a place of doubt or fear, it simply won't work. Denzel Washington wisely said it best. A strong line said with a weak voice becomes weak. And he is absolutely right. Your inner energy always tells the true story.